Hello, and welcome to episode 8 of Being Effective with UpNote. This is a YouTube series that I'm producing. My name's Chris Wood, and I run Effective Faith. And this YouTube series has so far been a tutorial about all of the functions and features in UpNote. It's now starting to evolve a bit more into how to actually use UpNote to be effective in your life and in your work. And it's going to evolve over the next few weeks into looking at things like building a second brain, but also other issues related to productivity, time management, being effective with the time and the resources that we've got. So this week, episode 8, it's all about how to create simple, basic dashboards in UpNote and use those to help you manage your time and your life. Now, I want to say at the outset that obviously UpNote is it's a clean note-taking app, and it doesn't have all of the bells and whistles features that something like Notion would have, and it's not a project management app like ClickUp, and therefore what you can do in terms of building dashboards is more simple. You're not going to be able to have linked databases and various different views and types of views and filtered views to show you different kinds of information. But you can do some quite powerful things, which is what I've done. I'm going to show you 3 of the dashboards that I use today. They're demo versions, so they're not my real versions. But I've got a master reading list, this week's projects, which I'll show you, and a command hub. Now, the command hub is really the key one that I use every day. The reading list is something that I'm sort of playing around with. I have been doing this in Notion, or when I've toyed with ClickUp, I've been doing it in there. And there are more features available in Notion for this kind of thing that might make that a better place to have it. But I'm trying to work out if I can have everything all in one place, and because I think that's going to be helpful, particularly as the reason why I've got a reading list is so I can take notes on books, and all of the notes are increasingly in UpNote. Now, there's a couple of notes down here as well that are just in this demo notebook. They wouldn't normally be there, but that's just where they are for the purposes of this video. So I'll show you, first of all, my master reading list, and then I'll work up to the top. So I've basically used collapsible sections here, and I've got 3 collapsible sections: books that I'm currently reading, books that I want to read, and books that I've read. Now, obviously, this is a fairly new thing, so if I open the books that I've read, you'll see that that list is packed full of knowledge that I've accumulated from all of the many books that I've recorded as having read. The books to read list is much more simple affair at the moment, because it's just there's a sort of a list of next up books, and then just a straight list. That is something that I will change as time goes on, but I haven't had time or desire to do that yet. Really, it gets key when you have it in this currently reading list. Now, this is just a simple table that you can create in UpNote using the tables function. I've created a tag for each of the authors of the books that I'm reading. I've given every book a category, so I've got Christian living, theology, history, productivity, another one on Christian living there, although, and then just a fiction novel. I like to keep track of where I'm up to in terms of the page count and the page numbers. And then this notes column is actually because the reason why I've put that in there is because some of the books that I've read in the past, I'm reading them as part of a project that I'm working on, like a study project, and I'll put a link to the project in the notes there. Now, the idea is that the book title is actually a link to the note where I'm taking notes on the book. So if I click this one, it'll take me to that note where I would put in all of my notes from reading Tiago Forte's Building a Second Brain. Having the authors as a tag is also really helpful, because it means if you click on that, you can get a list of all of the notes that are relevant to the all of the notes of the books that you're taking notes on and reading that have been written by that particular author. So in some ways this is a fairly basic dashboard, but it's just a way of tracking what I'm reading and having a great place to find the notes on what I'm reading. And as I complete books, they'll get brought down into this books read thing, and then that review status column will come into view. One foible issue with UpNote that I'm hoping that they resolve fairly quickly is you can't copy cells out of a table to paste them into another table. So when I've done this in other note-taking apps similar to UpNote, and say I finished this book, you would just select all of those cells and then you'd put them onto the clipboard and then just paste all of those cells. If the table beneath had the same number of columns, it would just paste all of that information off. You can't actually do that in UpNote, and I'm hoping that they resolve that. You can copy the whole table by using this function, or you can copy text from within individual cells. But if I do copy that to my clipboard and then select everything, and then if I just went up to here and clicked copy, it's not actually going to copy all of that information. It's still just got that text that I'd copied there. So that's something I hope they resolve, which would make manipulating this kind of stuff a lot easier. For right now, I'm just using it to track what I'm currently reading. I have another dashboard for this week's projects where I've just created a collapsible section for every single day of the week. I'm still kind of tracking project planning to a degree in Notion. So as I showed you in a previous video, here's a sample list of my focus projects for the week. These are all links to notebooks within UpNote down here. So if I copy those, and then I go back in here, as you can see, it's just pasted the link to the notebook in. And then what I would do is I would say, okay, my HTML and CSS course, let's go with that one. I do want to work on that one on Monday. I'm not going to have time for that on Tuesday, but Wednesday I will. I'm actually busy all day Thursday, so I'll put that in on Friday, and I'm definitely going to work on that on Saturday afternoon and Sunday evening. So they go in there. Increase reach online. I would love it if more people followed me on Twitter and read my blog and listened to my podcast, and I'm thinking about how to do that. And actually that is what I want my main focus to be on Thursday, so I'm going to do that. And then the basic guide to building an effective life. Anyway, that's a book that I'm hoping to write. Whether or not I'll actually get round to it, I don't know, but that is something that I want to spend a bit of time thinking about on Tuesday. The reason why I do this is it just helps me focus through the week. What projects am I actually going to work on what days? And this becomes relevant when we get to the main thing that I want to talk about this morning, which is the command hub. Now, this is a demo command hub, so a lot of the text you'll see in here is placeholders, and there are various different ways you could do something like this, but this is would normally be one of my quick access notes, and it would be pinned. This is something that I refer to all day, every day, as I'm going through things, and I'll just work through each of the sections from top to bottom. So focus and targets. This would be sort of my month focus and my month target. And what I do here is I would write a very short sort of statement or sentence in there for something that I'm focusing on as a Christian, for something that I'm focusing on for my family for the month, for my health focus for the month, whether that's to do with exercise or physical health or diet or whatever, that goes in there. And my personal focus for the month of March or April, as it's about to be. We're going there, and then I'd have a few work focuses in there as well. So to give you some examples on the work front, what that focus has been. In a previous month, one of them was to develop consistency in producing content and publishing blog posts. Another one of them was there was a specific project that I was working on that had 3 phases to it. So I wrote in that one of my work focuses for the month would be the first phase of that project. As we move into April, one of the focuses is going to be the second phase of that project. Another one of these work focuses has been to focus time learning about search engine optimization or increasing my following on Twitter. A health focus might be something like persistence and consistency in exercise throughout the month as a focus for the month. On this side, I have targets. Now, this is a little bit different to the focus. The focus is a little bit less specific and concrete. The targets kind of come out of the focus, really. So, and I've actually left in real ones in here. So I want to try and read the Bible and pray every day. I would like to follow my morning and evening routines every day. I would like to do some form of exercise every day, even if that's just going for a 30-minute walk. I've put in a note there to avoid snacking because that's a problem that I've been grappling with. I've got some reading targets here, 2 chapters a day this month, and try and read at least 1 book this month, and then a target to grow to 100 Twitter followers. I think I'm on 76. So if you're watching this and you don't follow me on Twitter, find Effective Faith on Twitter and follow me. That'd be great. And then lastly, because I always need to remind myself, have some fun, Mr. Wood. And then the only other thing I have for my month sort of focus and targets is just a link to my planner for the month. That's empty at the moment because I'm going to plan April this afternoon. I would normally do that earlier, but I haven't yet. So that's focus and targets. Because it's in a collapsible section, I can see it when I want to, and I can get rid of it when I want to. I should just say I've used quotes, UpNote's quote feature here, just to make these stand out and be a bit more visible. And these are just emojis that I've put in, again, to make things stand out a bit more. So I'll get rid of that. That's for the month. Then I have a sort of a thing for this week, which is a little bit simpler. These boxes I would put in a reminder or a target or a goal or a habit that I want to be consistent with during the week, and then at the bottom in a larger box I would have a key reminder, target, goal or habit. That's because the way this works is that's 3 cells that I've merged together. You can do cell merging in UpNote. And I mean, this could be anything. So these green ones tend to be related to health. These red ones tend to be the sort of related to my Christian life, and these yellow ones tend to be personal in some way. I can change the colour and put in work-related ones or whatever. Whatever is happening, I want to keep these limited because, well, the more things that you are trying to specifically focus on, the less you specifically focus on them. And that's just not good for anybody. But this would be things like try and run, to run 5 kilometres in one go would be a specific target for the week. Or it might be to finish a book that I'm reading, or it might be something that I want to remind myself of each and every day, and as I'm working through the day to try and keep that idea in my mind as I'm going. So those are just sort of key reminders to keep me focused through the week. Today is the key part of this. So this is where it focuses on today. Now, I've left things in here from a previous day. I'll just get rid of those because I'll show you about this in a second. I have my project focus for today. Now what I would do with that is I would go to this week's projects and I would say it is, let's assume it's a day where I've got more than one in. What day was that? There must have been a day when I had more than one. No, there's not. Let's just, well, it's Saturday today, so let's do it for Saturday. So I'm going to copy those because it's Saturday, so I'm just going to copy those links and paste them in there. And that means that I know that today I'm focusing on those projects, and as and when it comes time to work on them, I can just click those links and UpNote will take me to that project to work on it. I set myself 3 objective tasks for every single day. This is a variation of Carl Pauline's 2+8 prioritization system. Because my work is different to his and my tasks are often smaller than his, having 2 objectives is a bit light, so I have 3 because they're not going to take as long, although some of these would actually take quite a bit longer. Those are my 3 objectives for the day that I write in there. And then I've just got a few important things to remember for the day. So today is a fasting day, sort of. Don't worry about the sort of. That's just because something came up that meant it couldn't really be a fasting day. I want to remember grace. It saved me, so I should be showing it to others throughout the day. And then pact, patience, action, consistency, and time. The basic building blocks of being effective there. Then I write out a simple agenda for the day. This is because I want to keep my calendar relatively uncluttered, but I also want to know when I'm finished with something what to move on to next. And I tend to organise that here. It takes a minute or two to write all of this out from my to-do list and calendar for the day. This would be something that I would do in my Quorum Deo. I will talk to you about that in a future video, but that's just a sort of a morning planning session. If it's an objective, it goes in red, highlighted and in bold. Otherwise, it's just morning is yellow, orange is afternoon, and blue is for the evening. And I would just list out in order what I'm planning to do when through the day. I tend to put in stuff in green if it's what I would consider to be a fixed event. So going for a walk was a fixed event, having dinner with my family was a fixed event, and then other stuff. And this is basically what I work from through the day. So I do have my calendar, which I refer to as well, but this is like a daily agenda, and that's just really helpful for keeping me focused and keeping me moving through the day. And then lastly down here, waypoints is something that I'm building at the moment. You have your quick links down the sidebar in UpNote, which are for your key, most important notes. And I don't want to fill that with loads and loads of things that I'm not going to be looking at all of the time. But I have this list of waypoints, which are just links to notes or notebooks that I think are going to be helpful to have easy access to without cluttering up that quick access section. So I've got a link to my vision, I've got a link to my values. If you want to know more about my thoughts on that, go to effectivefaith.org. There's a blog post all about vision and values. I've got a link to my aim and purpose for Effective Faith itself, project and goal planning list, and then I've got my planning sheets from the last 3 months, and then a link to the planning notebook for 2023. So those are just some waypoints, really, that it's good to have easy access to all in one place without cluttering up the quick access section. I have all of these in collapsible sections, so I can see what I want to see whenever I want to see it without having to scroll up and down through a big long note, and I can hide it from view whenever I want to as well. And the command hub is, as I said, it's one of the key things that I use each and every day. and I find it really, really helpful to set it out the way I have done. It's always evolving a little bit, but these are just some ideas of 3 dashboards that you can create within UpNote, and hopefully that will give you some ideas on how to use the features and functions within UpNote to create your own dashboards, whether it's the same as the ones I've got, or you actually think you've got some better ideas. And if you do have good ideas of other dashboards you can create in UpNote using these kind of tips and tricks, then please do drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. I know there's a guy I saw on YouTube who, not YouTube, on Twitter, who created like a habit tracker in UpNote, which looked quite interesting, and I plan to explore that in future as well. But yeah, so dashboards in UpNote. Please do subscribe. There should be a subscribe button on the screen now, and then there'll be links on the right hand side of the screen to a couple of my earlier videos. Please do click those and check those out. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.